Hey, what's going on, guys? It's More Sports, and today I'm going to be giving you my NFL Week 1 predictions. So basically, I'm going to make a weekly video revolving around each NFL week, and I'm going to make my predictions on who's going to win each game. So the first game is Thursday, September 7th at 8:20 p.m., Lions-Chiefs. First game of the season. It's pretty hype. I like what the Lions have done. They've got a lot of core pieces on defense. Their offense is a little bit iffy, but they've also got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff. They have a good connection. Running back, even though they lost DeAndre Swift, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And meanwhile, the Chiefs haven't done a whole lot. They lost one of their main tackles in Orlando Brown Jr., who went to go play with the rival Bengals. But I think the Chiefs are still going to be the Chiefs. I'm going to give out some score predictions too, because why not? I have the Chiefs beating the Lions 30-24. The Lions aren't a team to mess around with this year, but I just feel like having a Week 1 matchup against the defending Super Bowl champions isn't one of the best starts to have. Next game we'll be talking about is the Houston Texans visiting the Baltimore Ravens. I don't have a lot to say on this game. I just feel like the Texans are still in their rebuild, the start of their rebuild. And the Ravens are trying to prove themselves as they've had disappointing playoffs in the past. Lamar Jackson just signed his big contract extension, so he needs to prove himself too. They're at home. I think this one's not going to be very close. If I had to give a score prediction, I would give it 24-10. The next game on my list is Cardinals at the Commanders. Again, not a lot I have to say on this one. We still don't know who is starting for quarterback for the Cardinals. It's going to be Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs. The Commanders they have the rookie Sam Howell, so I'm not expecting a lot out of this game. I do have the Commanders winning though. I'll give them the win of 20-13. I just feel like the Commanders have a better defense, and if it's Dobbs or if it's Tune, they're going to struggle against the Washington defense. Next game is Bengals at Browns. I'm actually excited to watch this game, unlike the previous two we just mentioned. I feel like a lot of people are either sleeping on the Browns or they're overrating the Browns, because I think they could have a good season this year. But it's hard when your first week matchup is against the Bengals, who's one of the powerhouses in the AFC. I think it'll be a good game. I'll definitely be watching. It'll be interesting to see how Deshaun Watson plays this year, because this is the year everyone's expecting him to return somewhat to form. Even if he plays at half at what he was in Houston, it'll be good for the Browns. The Bengals defense does scare me, because they've lost a lot of key pieces like Jesse Bates to Atlanta, Von Bell to Carolina. So it'll be interesting to see how their defense fares against a team that could offensively be good as the Browns. However, I do have the Bengals winning. I will give the Bengals 27-20 win. Next game is the Panthers at Falcons. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily excited to watch this game, or I wouldn't say that I'd go out of my way to watch this game, but seeing the stat lines after will be interesting, because the Falcons have Desmond Ridder. This will be his second year. It'll be interesting to see how he plays, and Land will be figuring out this season if he's their guy or not. And then number 1 overall pick Bryce Young on his new team. That'll be interesting to see. Even though this may sound crazy because we haven't seen this guy play yet, but I feel like I trust Bryce Young, and he's got more key pieces around him like Adam Thielen. Well, I guess he's not necessarily a key piece, but he's a solid piece. Carolina, you can tell they're really trying to push and give Bryce Young some weapons, some comfortability. And the Falcons, I feel like Bijan Robinson's going to have a good game. Regardless, I'm not sure how Desmond Ridder will show. I do have the Panthers winning 20-16, however. Next game, I have Buccaneers and Vikings. I feel like this game is going to be a lot closer than people think. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Baker Mayfield fan and I have his Browns jersey hanging in my room. That the Buccaneers could be somewhat decent this year. However, they do have Todd Bowles. Against a team that's decently decent, like the Vikings, I just don't see the Buccaneers winning. I do think it'll be a close Week 1 matchup, though. And I have the Vikings winning 30-27. I got the Jaguars and Colts. This one might surprise some people, but I actually have the Colts winning. The most upsets happen in the season. They take place in Week 1. I don't know if that's statistically correct, but it feels like it is. And I think the Jaguars are going to be good this year, but I think they're just going to have a slow game 1 here. They're going to be trying to get their offense together. You could say the same for the Colts with Anthony Richardson. I just feel like the Colts will be able to pull away with this win, and they will win 23-19 over the Jaguars, and it'll be a close game. People will be worried about the Jaguars, but then it won't take long for them to show that they are the best team in the AFC South and the most complete team. The 49ers at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't have a lot to say about this game either. I think the Steelers have a decent enough roster. This game will be a defensive game because both teams have stout defenses. Plus, both teams aren't exactly known for their amazing offenses. But I still do have the 49ers beating the Steelers 14-10 in this Week 1 matchup. It ends at the Saints. I think this will be an interesting matchup because both of these teams are kind of mediocre. They're going to be fighting off to start off that 1-0 and get hot. The Titans don't have a lot to look forward to in the future just because their team mostly consists of older guys, older players playing. I think Tannehill's still going to be the starter. The Saints, they'll be trying to mesh things together with Derek Carr as he's their new quarterback. Chris Olave, I think, is going to have another great year for the Saints. And I think that the Saints will win this matchup against the Tennessee Titans 27-24. Next game is the first afternoon game, Raiders at Broncos Country. Let's ride. I don't have a lot to say about this game either, just because both of these teams are kind of they were last year. I do believe that they will continue to be this year. If there's one team that got worse, it would be the Raiders. The Raiders switched out Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo, which I think was a dumb move. I don't think it's going to elevate their offense at all. The only reason Jimmy Garoppolo was a quarterback is because of the 49ers system. It fitted him perfectly, and when you're on the Raiders, it's going to be completely different. Sean Payton, I feel like he's going to help Russell Wilson have a bounce-back season. And even though I don't see the Broncos as that amazing, the Raiders just got so much worse, and I'm going to have to give this win to the Broncos. I will say 24-16. The next afternoon game is the defending NFC champs, the Philadelphia Eagles, visiting the New England Patriots. The Eagles are going to look to get back in the big game, and it starts with facing off against the Patriots. Considering the Eagles are on another level of the Patriots, I do have the Eagles winning this game, and I have them winning 33-13. So I think this game is going to be a big blowout. Next afternoon game, I have the Packers and Bears. The Bears did get better. They got DJ Moore for the first overall pick. However, they didn't need that pick because they decided to stick with Justin Fields. They also reinvented the defense with getting guys like Tremaine Edmonds from the Bills in free agency. Packers, however, they've gotten somewhat worse, mostly just in the quarterback position because you go from Aaron Rodgers, who's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer in the future, to Jordan Love, who's never really gotten his chance to take over the team. He's got a couple starts, and both of them were meh. I do, however, think this will be a somewhat high-scoring game, and I'll give the Packers the 28-22 win over the Bears. Next game is Dolphins at Chargers. This is going to be an interesting matchup because both of these teams are expected to make the playoffs in some aspects. They're good enough to make the playoffs, but will they is the question. My main concern for the Dolphins is cornerback. Even though they didn't have Jalen Ramsey last year, they were supposed to this year, but he's going to be injured for a bit. I think he's expected to miss a couple weeks. I could be wrong on that. The Chargers didn't change a whole lot this year. They've gotten healthier because last year they were pretty injury-ridden, so it's good for them. I do, however, think that the Dolphins' defense isn't going to be enough and their offense isn't going to show. Tua's going to struggle a bit in his first start back since he missed last year in the playoffs where they had to start Skylar Thompson. So I do have the Chargers winning 21-20 over the Dolphins. Last afternoon game is the Rams visiting the Seahawks. I don't have much to say on this game either. The Rams are looking to get back to where they were a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, even though it's going to be a lot harder now because they lost a lot of those key players to either retirement or injury, or they just ended up having to trade or cut them. The Seahawks bringing back Bobby Wagner, which is a good piece for their defense. They're poised to have another good year as long as Geno Smith continues to be the same quarterback he was last year. However, this is week 1, and I do have the Rams beating the Seahawks 17-14. Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald are going to be good to go. Cooper Kupp, I'm not sure about him. I think he's going to play week 1. I'm going off that assumption that he's going to play, which is why I have the Rams winning 17-14. Sunday night game, we have the Dallas Cowboys visiting the New York Giants. This will be a good Sunday night game to watch. NFC East rivalry, and we know those are to be taken seriously. I do, however, have the Giants beating the Dallas Cowboys in this game 36-33. I think it'll be a high-scoring Sunday night game. It'll be the perfect welcome back introduction to Sunday Night Football with the high-scoring close game. I do think that the New York Giants are going to take it, though. They're at home. I feel Daniel Jones is going to have improved after he got his big contract. Hopefully that's the case and he doesn't regress. Saquon Barkley is going to be motivated for running backs everywhere. He's got to play his best so they can get those big deals again. I just feel the Giants are going to take this game. It could come down to a last-second field goal, but that is my final score prediction for that game. And lastly, this week we have the Monday night game between the Bills and the Jets. The Jets are a completely new team now with Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be getting Breece Hall back. They've got a good wide receiver core. Their defense is still going to be good. The Bills, however, even though the Jets have made such improvement and they're projected to make the playoffs, considering they have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Aaron Rodgers, I feel it'll be a rough start for them because they got to get to know each other a bit more, even though Rodgers and Garrett Wilson have looked great together playing in training camp. The Bills are just one of the AFC powerhouses. They've still got their same guys, their same core, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. And on defense, they're going to have Micah Hyde back after he's been out with injury last year. Justin Poyer is going to be good to go. Ed Oliver, those same guys on defense, ready to give the Jets a hard time. And I do have the Bills winning this game 33-23. It'll be a 10-point victory margin for the Bills. Josh Allen's going to look good. Rodgers is going to play decently. I see a lot of people picking the Jets to win this game. I just don't agree. I'd have to see it firsthand because we haven't seen these Jets guys play together. We have to see how they really play on the field before I make predictions that they'll play super good and they could beat a powerhouse like the Bills. But that is it for my NFL Week 1 predictions, guys. I will be doing this every week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my predictions, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.